want you to call us up, 215-490-9832. We're talking about a little bit of everything this evening with our brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, since he's last been here, Troy, he made the major announcement. We was at work, and I said, Troy, you said what? I said, Dr. Umar made the announcement. You said, what announcement? He got our sweatshirts? I said, no, he ain't got our sweatshirt, but he made the announcement about the school. Where is it? I said, we got to listen. So we was listening. I was on Instagram. He got about 30,000 people watching at the same time, and he mentioned that the school will be in Delaware.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm hyped like him. Delaware is the location where the school will be. So we welcome our brother back with us for the third time, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Peace and black power. Glad to be back. Can you hear me clearly there?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
We got
Good
you,
to be back, fellas.
First of all, I want to say congratulations. You pulled
Thank
it
you.
off, brother. You did what many thought that you could not do. They lied on you. They said you took the money. They said you were doing all kind of crazy things, but you did it, brother.
Yes, sir.
You did it.
Yes, sir. Praise be to the Most High. Yes, sir. And the ancestors.
The ancestors,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
You did it. Now, first of all, I just want to say to you, what made you choose Delaware, man?
I would say that I did not choose Delaware. Delaware chose me. I had always thought for several years during this fundraising process that the school would be in Detroit. I really thought Detroit was the location because Detroit had so many schools that were available. And my number one pick was actually in Detroit, but we could not afford it. And then Chicago, I thought would also be a likely landing spot because of the amount of available buildings there. And we went all over the country. I was up in New York. I was in Jersey, Philadelphia at one point, Ohio, Virginia, which was the original first school, St. Paul's College. Now, the story of how we got the Delaware school is very spiritual, very spiritual. August the 21st of 2017, we celebrated the Nat Turner total solar eclipse. Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. We did that down in Nat Turner land. As you know, I'm born on that date, August 21st. Is very significant for me. I believe Nat Turner is a spirit god of mine for a lot of reasons. Anyhow, following the Nat Turner eclipse celebration, August 21st of 2017, I was checking LoopNet. And I always check LoopNet periodically for new schools. That's what I've been doing for almost 5 years. And the school popped up that said Wilmington, Delaware. And it looked extremely modern. So I contacted the realtor. It was a white male. Mm-hmm. He arranged for me to walk through the school, and I loved it. 4 buildings, 2 of them which were schools, the third one a gym, a fourth one another building. And I said, I want this. This is it. Because there was nothing else on the block. Wilmington is a predominantly black city, small, close enough to Philly, but still yet has its own separate identity. But they wanted 1.2 million. All we had was 750K. And at that point, we had a little less than 750K because that was a year and a half ago. I refused to give up on it. There was a school in Atlanta that I was going to jump on. But then some domestic situations required that I stay in Philadelphia and not relocate. So I said, I can't do Atlanta. I got to stay close. Where is this going to happen at? And so I kept on tugging at the owners, tugging at the realtor. 18 months later, by the grace of God, because we did not have $1 million to buy this school, they were finally willing to throw in the towel, concede, and sell it to me for what we had.
We actually had some technical difficulties, guys. So if you're watching this for the first time and you don't know who I am and somebody shared this with you, my name is E. Dean Cole, and I own Dean Cole Financial. We are a consulting firm, and we specialize in working capital, alternative finance, and business credit development. That's who I am. That's what I do. And so this video, we're teaching truth to power, economic empowerment. This channel is dedicated to economic empowerment through entrepreneurship. So if you're watching this video is a live lecture. We're talking about Dr. Umar Johnson, and we're talking about his new school. So this video, we are talking about Dr. Umar Johnson. I am going over his business plan, a good business plan model, and we're going to show actual public record. A lot of people have been talking about him. New school. So yeah, okay, the delay is gone, so we're good to go. Okay, so great. So a lot of people have been talking about Dr. Umar Johnson, been talking about his school, have been talking about if it's a fraud, if he's a fraud, the GoFundMe, all of that information. And in the conscious community, there's a lot of people that have a lot to say about the subject, but are very not that qualified to talk about it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Dr. Umar Johnson, on his ability to actually fund the school. But just for myself, I don't want to distract from this. And I'm teaching truth to power about Dr. Umar Johnson, his school. Like I said, this is live, all right? So I'm going to break everything down for you guys. I'm about to show you actual reports. I'm going to show you mortgage information. I'm going to show you tax record information, appraisal value information. So the difference between me and many other conscious YouTubers is the fact that, and I'm not saying this to boast or brag, it's just the fact of the matter is that I am the CEO of a consulting firm. And I have had multiple videos where I've been talking about Dr. Umar Johnson, and a lot of people look at it as criticism, but it's not criticism. I look at Dr. Umar Johnson as a contemporary. He is a colleague of mine. He is an orator. I'm an orator. He's a speaker. I'm a speaker. I look at him as someone I would definitely love to collaborate with. At the same time, as a successful black man, it's my job to hold him accountable. You know, the #1 best-selling book of all times that taught me how to be the best orator and taught me how to be the best business development coach there is, it says that iron sharpens iron. So I hold him accountable. If you look at all of the videos, now I'm not talking about the Johnny-come-latelys, I'm talking about the individuals who actually follow me on YouTube, and also look at the chat below. If you have, and I think I have maybe 4 videos up. One video where actually Dr. Umar Johnson and I are talking via Facebook when he talks about his story, that video. And then there's another video where I am talking about Dr. Umar Johnson and his license. A lot of people were saying he's going to lose his license, and I talk about that he didn't lose his license. And then the third video I did about Dr. Umar Johnson was about his school, the real problem with his school. And in that video, I say that his school is needed, that we need his school. And the only issue with Dr. Umar Johnson that I had was his arrogance and him being egotistical. And I'm not saying that and I'm not hating, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. I'm just colleague to colleague. I'm just pulling his coattail just in that area. I think that has been his biggest downfall on his journey for his school. Now, I am, like I said, I am a business consultant. I have $1 million E&O insurance policy. What that means is when I speak about finances or when I'm teaching on YouTube, I'm held to a different standard. I'm not saying it to impress you, but to impress upon you that this video is going to be long. The reason why is because I have to teach truth to power because I am a consultant. There's a lot of individuals that are YouTubers and, you know, they might work at Red Lobster, or they just might do YouTube full time. They're not held accountable by the words that they say. So if you got people like, hurry up and get to the point, you're talking too much, hurry up and show me the stuff with Dr. Umar Johnson. Look, this is Dr. Umar Johnson's address. 610 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware. This is where he bought the new building. Let me pull the building up again, guys. Hold on for a second. So let me pull the building up again. So I hear all the people saying, hurry up and get to the point. Hold on, guys. This is not clickbait, okay? I'm just ranting and raving, guys. Bear with me for one moment, all right? Bear with me for one moment. Okay, this is the location, all right? This is the location of the school. That we do, and it's a double-edged sword. This is what get a lot of pastors in trouble, and this is what get a lot of people like Dr. Umar in trouble. Just because we're great at one thing doesn't mean we're great at all things. And what happens is that in the African American community, we need a hero so bad. We need someone that's going to speak truth to power for us so bad. They put a lot of the leaders on a pedestal, and they make them very iconoclastic, and they make them icons as if they can't do any wrong. But the same way that when the wind blow, I get cold, if Dr. Umar Johnson, if Dr. Boyce Watkins, if Dr. Jamal Bryant or Creflo Dollar or Malik Ali Shabazz, whomever, when the wind blow, they get cold because we are human beings just like you guys are human beings as well. And so what happens is that we put people on a pedestal. Now, people that feed into that godlike complex, then they start to walk around as if they can't do any wrong. And one of the things that I appreciate that I can see a growth in Dr. Umar Johnson is the fact that he apologized for a mistake that he made with the young lady in 2015. He apologized for the mistake that he made when it came to GoFundMe. And that's his most recent live. And I can appreciate that from him because that shows growth on his part, okay? So that's one of the things that I just want to reiterate with you guys. So just because someone is good at one thing doesn't make them good at everything. Just because they're expert on one thing doesn't make them an expert on all things. Okay, so look, all right. So most of you guys are interested in the financial aspects of it. So let's get into it. So the very first thing is this. So whenever you're going to get a property, whether you're purchasing a piece of property for your home or you're purchasing commercial use, you need to get a full report. There is the number one reason why people fail is because they're underplan. Okay, the number one best-selling book of all times that taught me how to be the best business consultant I can be says that when a man goes to build a house but doesn't first count the cost, if he doesn't have enough to finish it, he will be ridiculed. So it's very important for you to do your due diligence to understand. So this here is a report that was done today. And this is on the 610 East 17th Street, which is the location of Dr. Umar Johnson School, okay? So for all of you guys who saw the video, this is the location for the school, all right? Now, in this report, right now there's a total of 25 alerts. Let me make myself smaller so you guys can see. Bam, and put myself down here. There we go. So there's a total of 28 alerts, 17 concerns, and 8 benefits. The reason why I'm showing this to you guys is because this is the process that I went through when I first started investing in real estate at the age of 18. When I first started flipping real estate, this is what my mentor taught me, and I do even to this day when it comes to my properties. So this is like I said, this report started at 8 a.m. Right now, the time is 2 o'clock. I've been doing research and pulling up records. Like I said, there is a promissory note floating around. I didn't want to pay for that because I don't think that's irrelevant. I think it's irrelevant. But to answer your questions, for everybody to say that Dr. Umar Johnson is a scam artist and all this other stuff, this is a legit deal, guys. So I'm going to show you guys the receipts that this. All right, so someone said Umar bit off more than he can chew. We're going to talk about that in this. And there's a possibility that could have been the case, but I'm teaching truth to power. By the end of this video, if he needs it, he'll be able to definitely finish this deal the right way. I'm going to show you guys everything. I'm also going to show you guys where you can get grant money, where Dr. Umar Johnson will get grant money to pay for his school. I'm going to break this all the way down. So this is $500 worth of consulting that I'm giving to you for free, Dr. Umar Johnson. Whether you like it, whether you receive it or not, like I said, I'm going to make sure that I give it to you. But once again, I am giving you, Dr. Umar Johnson, $500 worth of consulting for free so that you can make sure that this school is legit. I pulled up all the records. I pulled up the statistics. I pulled up the appraised value. I pulled up all of this information so that we can go ahead and move forward, okay? So you guys are with me, so let's go ahead and do it, all right? All right, so one cool thing about this is that because Dr. Umar Johnson is wanting to build a school for black boys, these things are very good when it comes to his demographic for investors as well as grants. As a business consultant, I would have Dr. Umar Johnson to focus a lot of what he gets in the future from actual government grant money versus actual loans. Now, this is me talking as a business consultant. Now, let's take a step back, guys. Now, Dr. Umar Johnson is a Garveyite. So that's something that's very important because I've reached out to him before and he wasn't as reluctant to receive my help because I specialize in business credit, banking, and finance. I teach you how to get funding. I teach you how to start and grow a business. But Dr. Umar Johnson is a Garveyite. So that means that they don't believe in getting loans and getting funding, which is a mistake. If I was what Dr. Umar Johnson, he 4 years ago, he started to raise funds. He has raised $750,000 to this date with GoFundMe. He has raised over $750,000, which was more than enough for him to start his school on the level that he was on. One of the biggest problems that we have in the African American community is we want everything to be, we want to start at the top. We want to have a 5,000 square foot school. We want to have perfect attendance, and we want to start at the top. Now, the problem with that is in the business world, you're not going to get any funding just like that. You're not going to do that. When you're planting a church, or you're planting a business, or you're planting a ministry, or you're planting a auto body mechanic shop, or wherever you're planting in the community, we always want to start off booming off the gate. But I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to break this down. I've been researching this all morning, and I am going to show if anybody wants to purchase anything when it comes to commercial real estate, whether it be a multifamily community complex, if you follow these steps, you will be able to have success, because I broke this all the way down for him and for you as well. And one of the things that one of the lenders I'm going to show you guys will give you $5 million if you are moving locations. Watch this, guys, okay? Moving locations, they will give you $5 million if you're moving locations. What does that mean? That means if Dr. Umar Johnson would have started off in a small little school with only 2 rooms, if he built his business a proper way, out of this 4 years, he could have easily gotten a $5 million loan just to move his location. So I want everyone to say, if you're with me, I want you to say move, all right? I want you to say move, not start, but move, all right? So as you guys know, I teach on underwriting guidelines. That's what makes my courses so successful, is because I teach on underwriting guidelines, and I teach you what the banks want you to see in order to get approved. So if you are starting up, like if you're a brand new startup, that loan that I'm talking about would not work for you. But if, let's say, you're already existing and you're working, and you want to move, or you want to purchase the place that you're leasing from, they will give you up to $5 million to move. So I want everyone to say move. Now, what I would have coached Dr. Umar Johnson on was to start where you were. So right now today, he has $750,000. Now, we're going to break all of this down, but let's go ahead and look at this. Now, this is for the purposes of the grants, because I'm going to show you guys grant money that's set aside specifically for people like Dr. Umar Johnson. So I'm going to show you guys that, but these numbers are important first, all right? So there are 28 alerts, and we need to know what those 28 alerts are. There's 17 concerns. We need to know what those 17 concerns are, and there are 8 benefits. We need to know what they are. So one thing about this is that the crime index is very high. That's a good thing for helping underprivileged, marginalized individuals. And I'm not saying this to be predatory. I'm not saying this to be opportunistic. I'm saying this from an analytical business aspect of it. If you're wanting to help the underprivileged community, if you're wanting to help the marginalized community, if you want to start a nonprofit to help single mothers, or you wanting to start a nonprofit to help young black boys or young black girls, if you're wanting to start a nonprofit and to get funding for that, you want to be located, your business wants to be located where it can be affected immediately. If you're wanting to be in the upper side of town, the best side of town, let's say, like for instance, if I start a church, if I plant a church, I'm going to plant a church where they need the help. Now, I'm not going to live there. I ain't going to lie to you, niggas, I'm fly to you. I'm still going to be about 45 minutes, an hour away in $1 million complex, $1 million neighborhood. But as far as where I go to help, I'm going to be there, but where I live is a different place. So that's why this is very important, because I found grant money for Dr. Umar Johnson today based on these statistics. Now, he didn't hire me to do this. I just got excited about this because I'm excited that he got the building, and I was also doing research to figure out if it was true or not. And I got all of this. I'm about to share this with you guys, okay? All right. Thank you so much, Harper. Absolutely. So thank you so much for telling everybody to share, Bill, my beautiful fiance. Thank you so much for that, sweetheart. All right. So let's get into this. So the very first thing is 28 alerts, 17 concerns, 8 benefits. So the crime is very high. So because the crime is very high, that means that there's a lot of grant and city money that's available for that. Former local drug labs. So the good thing is that this was not a formal drug lab, because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever seen Flip This House, you'll see a lot of properties that used to be meth labs. And so if it's meth labs, that means that you have to actually tear down the wall and tear down the asbestos. And so a lot of times people talk about trap houses. Look, that's the very second thing is if it's a trap house or not. So did you guys know did you know a trap house meant that is either a house where people sold drugs out of, or where people made drugs to sell out of there? They either sold and made drugs from the same location, or they either sold drugs from an abandoned house. So that's what a trap house comes from, or a bando. If you knew that, I want you to say knew that. If you didn't know, I want you to say OMG. Let's just go ahead and break this all the way down. So let's go and look at the actual property value and the appraised value of this project. Let's go ahead and break this all the way down. Let's go ahead and break it all the way down. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of the financial aspects of the deal, okay? Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right, so this right here, the last time, now the thing about it is this: Dr. Umar Johnson is doing a private lease, okay? He's doing a private lease from the owners of the company, from the owners of the property. So he currently has $750,000 of funds set aside. He is doing a promissory note, kind of like a lease purchase. If you get a house, and if the person owns the house outright, and if you can't qualify for a mortgage, they could either rent the property out to you or do a lease purchase where they're operating as the bank. They're leasing the property. So Dr. Umar Johnson is leasing to own the property. It's a promissory note. Now, I don't know the details of what that promissory note is. Like I said, that promissory note is floating around, but I did not want to pull that